Troubled by strange noises in the middle of the night.
Have you ever experienced feelings of dread in your basement or attic? Have you or your family ever seen a spook, specter, or ghost?
If the answer is yes, then don't wait for another minute. Pick up the phone and call the professionals.
Ghostbusters! We're ready to believe you.
Hello, I'm Andrew Thomas, and this is my fellow Ghostbuster, Christopher Johnson.
Hello, everyone.
And we're continuing, or in hindsight, with Ghostbusters, the original.
Yes, Ghostbusters, 1984.
Yep. So
an absolute classic.
Yeah. You want to get into the overview?
Sure. Ghostbusters is a 1984 supernatural comedy film directed and produced by Ivan Reitman. The film was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis and distributed by Columbia Pictures, a subsidiary of Sony Pictures Entertainment. The film stars Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Sigourney Weaver, and Rick Moranis, along with Annie Potts, Ernie Hudson, and William Atherton in supporting roles. Mm-hmm.
So you want to get into the synopsis?
Sure. Peter Venkman, Ray Stanz, and Egon Spengler, a trio of eccentric parapsychologists, start a business that investigates and captures ghosts in New York City.
So, we really watched this, and this was I thought it still holds up.
Yes. I mean, this is one of those films that for some reason, every time I watch it, it gets better and better. Mm-hmm. Very few films have ever done that for me. It's either, I know, yeah, it's still good, I still enjoy it, or, yeah, maybe it wasn't as good as I originally thought. But this film, it seems like every time there's just something new about it that I enjoy. Maybe it's, some more jokes clicking, some cameos.
Or some Easter eggs or some things that you didn't notice the first time around watching.
Yeah, and it just makes it better and better.
Yep.
So, why don't we go into the cast?
Yep.
Starting with everyone's favorite smart aleck scientist, Peter Venkman, played by Bill Murray.
Yep. He's good with being the sarcastic one, and he's really one of the few non-believer of the Ghostbusters.
Well, he's a skeptic.
Yeah.
Until they finally find their first ghost.
Yep. Of course, his role was originally supposed to be for John Belushi.
Oh.
On there. It was supposed to be a buddy thing between Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, but John Belushi passed away before Dan Aykroyd could finish that script.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, things would have been weird if it had been the Blues Brothers.
Yep.
As the Ghostbusters.
Yep. So I think the Peter Venkman role would have been more John Belushi if John Belushi was still alive.
But I think they perfectly tailored this role for Bill Murray.
Yep.
I can't picture anyone else being Peter Venkman except Bill Murray.
Yep.
I mean, he's just quick wit. I just, despite knowing that, maybe Peter may not be the best person in the world. I mean, he's
the best professors or scientists in the world.
Yeah, I mean, he's mainly nothing more than a womanizer. And
hitting on his female student at the beginning.
Yeah, and being kind of lazy.
Yeah.
But once they hit their stride as Ghostbusters, you really like him. And you can tell that, he actually does kind of take his job seriously.
And he does care about the people who are in trouble.
Yeah.
Especially Dana, his love interest for the movie. Yeah.
Now, we're talking about the smart aleck. Why don't we go into the person that is way too enthusiastic about this job? Ray Stanz, played by Dan Aykroyd.
Yep. Yep, that was a good role he wrote himself in. For
Yeah.
To be there. In his original writing, the Ghostbusters were already Ghostbusters in the original script. Yeah.
So we never really saw their origins.
No.
And why they decided to start the business.
And that was when Belushi was still alive, so yeah.
Huh.
Yep. It was going to be like a competing version of Ghostbusters sort of thing, where we had like the Jackass Ghostbuster they had to compete for.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. That would have been interesting.
Yeah,
different
that
kind of
would have
movie.
been interesting.
Yeah.
But I think Dan Aykroyd is hilarious in this role because not only is he very witty and has some great lines, it's just so how happy and gung-ho he is about doing this job. This man got so excited about the pole in the police house that they end up making their headquarters.
And he's also part of the reason that the Ghostbusters nearly die.
On more than one occasion.
Yeah, with the librarian. Get her! Of course, then he also almost gets them to die when they confront Gozer. Also.
Are you a god?
No.
Then die!
Although Peter sort of pushed him by saying "Go get her" as a reference to when they first encountered the library ghosts.
Well, yeah.
But Ray should have answered the right answer,
Yeah.
and Gozer probably would have gone away.
Yeah. Yeah. Ray, if someone asks you if you're a god, say yes!
Then we get to the scientists, Egon Spengler, Harold Ramis.
My favorite Ghostbuster.
Yep.
Just how utterly eccentric and just into his work.
He was the Ghostbusters Spock, essentially.
Yeah, he saw things much more logical and, he wasn't really trying to, be a showman like Peter.
And he didn't care for relationships, even though Janine was trying to get into a relationship with him. He just didn't really care for it or think about it.
He's like, I'm caring more about my job.
Yeah.
I have no interest in anything else except spores, molds, and fungus.
Yeah, but I did there's a dynamic together for the 2 or maybe 3 scenes that they had together.
Yeah. That and just the overall dynamic with, Egon, Ray, and Peter. It really works.
Yep, and Egon kind of didn't take some of Peter's sarcastic crap occasionally.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Hey, Egon's all business.
Yep.
And that's something I like, especially since he's the one that makes most of their gadgets.
Yep. Yep.
Most of, if not all, their gadgets.
Yep. And it was his idea of them doing the proton packs and stuff before they got kicked out.
Yeah, the proton packs, the ghost trap,
Yeah.
the detector.
Yeah. That the only one that Harold Ramis was the only one who knew how to use, who had to learn how to use. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, with the Ghostbusters that start this adventure, why don't we go into one of their first clients?
Dana Barrett.
Played by Sigourney Weaver.
Yep. And this was her first comedy after the Alien movies.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting to see Captain Ripley deciding to be a bit more lighthearted.
Yeah, well, she didn't want to be typecast and being a horror star, as we know about Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
There. So, and it was her idea that Dana got possessed in this movie.
Huh.
Yep. Yep. I think in the original script, Dana was just getting terrorized by Gozer and the thing. She wasn't going to get possessed. Yeah, she decided on her audition. She's like, the girl should be possessed. and she also showed it to Ivan Reitman in her audition. Being the possessed one, yeah. So yeah, they decided to put that into the script.
And I think it was a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah, but especially when she's all sexy, possessed.
Yeah.
Sexy, scary, possessed.
Yeah, PG. A family picture.
Yep.
And some of the things that she says to try to entice Peter, who she thinks is the keymaster.
You want this body? Is that a trick question?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, but of course, she was scared when she actually does the Zool voice, possess.
Yeah.
That scared me as a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. I wasn't really afraid.
I think it's cool now, but as a kid, it scared me because I didn't really watch many horror movies back in the day. So that was close to the things I had to like a horror movie was that.
Well, I guess I get it. I get it. But with talking about one person that gets possessed, why don't we go into the other one? Louis Tully, played by Rick Moranis.
And that role was supposed to be by John Candy.
Oh.
Yep. He was going... Yep, they asked him to go be in Ghostbusters, and his suggestion was that he should be in German and he should have dogs. And Ivan's like, no, we already have enough dog imagery in this movie. We don't need any more, so John passed on it. And Rick Moranis was like the runner-up.
Huh.
Pretty much. And they all knew of him because of Second City, because most of them did Second City. Harold, Dane, and Bill.
Huh.
Second City with Rick, yeah.
So they were like, okay, so the other funny guy that we know of that could definitely do good with this role passed. Mm-hmm. Why don't we pick the other guy that is actually funny?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I actually enjoy Rick Moranis in this role, even though it's a bit different than what we would end up seeing him play in other films.
Yep. He's the guy who might have a crush on Dana, or probably
might.
Okay, has a crush on Dana. Yep, and invites her to his only client party.
Yeah, because he's an accountant.
He wants all that promotion.
And just the way that he talks, it for some reason I have like a slight Woody Allen feel to how he. I for some reason I picture Woody Allen when he's talking and acting the way he does.
Yeah, but I think that's what was one of his inspirations of doing it. Although, with Woody Allen stuff, I don't think it's more of a compliment anymore.
Yeah. Maybe at some point we'll go into that once we discuss some Woody Allen films.
Yeah, but Rick Moranis is still great in that one. So if you just ignore all our other talk there, he's still great in this one.
Yeah, absolutely great. Absolutely. And plus he's equally as hilarious once he gets possessed.
Yep. He drinks hot coffee. He messes with puts the pizza on there. He's basically like a dog. He's trying to find out. He like also copies some of Egon's moves when they're threatening to shut off the containment unit. Egon's pointing and he's pointing back. He's like, oh, this is what you do as a human.
Yeah. You want coffee? Yes, have some.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's essentially possessed by the Keymaster, Vince Plortho.
Yeah.
And Dana by Zool.
Yep.
Zool!
Yep. And so, should we mention about the other Ghostbuster?
Ah, yes. The everyman that decides to join the Ghostbusters and who's an even bigger skeptic than Peter. Winston Zedmore, played by Ernie Hudson.
And he does good on the second half. I just wish he had more to do. Well, originally he was going to be played by Eddie Murphy. And in the Slimer scenes where Slimer slimes Peter, was going to be Eddie Murphy's Winston who got slimed instead of Peter. On that one. If you see some of the storyboards on that one and comparing and contrast, it's Winston instead of Peter who gets slimed on that one. So yeah. Yeah, but then Eddie got out, and Ernie, he was going, and he said that Ivan changed the script. He knocked down his script until later after the montage, which upset Ernie. And I can understand.
Yeah, because that cuts into, his time in the film, and also,
But it also makes perfect sense, with them finally getting their business started up, and they're finally getting a new hire.
Yeah, I think it makes sense that they would get, an average everyday person to join their crew.
Yeah.
It makes all the sense. I mean, you've got 3 scientists. You should have at least that one person that kind of connects with us.
Yeah, he was mainly the audience. And when I did like his talk with Ray on their way back, talking about the dead rising from the dead, on there saying, Ray, the dead have been rising from the grave. That's why we've been catching ghosts. And Ray finally gets the epiphany. He's like, really? Like, really? The ghosts? Yeah, so... And also, some of his funny scenes with the mayor were pretty funny also.
Yeah. Hey, I was a skeptic too. I didn't believe it either. But man, I have seen some stuff that would make you turn white.
Yep. See the uncensored version on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah. And for now, let's go to the other supporting cast. Annie Potts.
Yeah. Playing Janine. Well, Janine Melnitz.
Yeah.
I actually love Janine.
Yeah. She doesn't take Peter's crap either.
No, she's an absolute no-nonsense, New York, New Jersey, girl that is essentially their receptionist.
Yeah, who has a hard on for Egon.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Good Lord, yes.
Yep, which we play more into the cartoon more than the movie.
Yeah, which I actually like. Yes. I actually like that in all the cartoons.
Yeah, same here. But we'll see on the next movie why we don't like the next change.
Yeah. But Janine's great. Yep. She is.
And then one of our human antagonists, William Atherton.
As Walter Peck.
Yep. He's the most skeptic of them all, thinking it's all hallucinations, gases.
Essentially, he thinks that the Ghostbusters are drugging them and then doing a light show just to get money.
Yep.
And I swear that, this man is the reason why all the bad things in the final third of the film happen.
Yep.
It's his fault.
Yep.
It is true, Your Honor. This man has no dick.
Yep. His interaction with Peter or Bill Murray is pretty funny.
Yes. And just how much Peter gets under his skin, I love.
I think this was William Atherton's first antagonistic thing, next to Die Hard, where he plays a reporter.
What was with him and just constantly causing troubles for people that are trying to save the world?
It was probably, sorry, William, just your face.
And the fact that he has a perfect, jerk villain face.
Yeah. Yep. So, should we talk about Gozer or
well, yeah. Why don't we go ahead? I mean, hey, the main big bad that this whole film leads up to, Gozer the Gozerian, played fantastically by Slaviza Jovan in the physical form and voiced by Patty Edwards.
Yep.
And I think Gozer was great, though there's still a lot of mystery about Gozer. We don't really get to see too much of Gozer.
Maybe we'll get more in this upcoming movie.
Yeah, because there's a whole freaking cult that still believes in Gozer. Apparently, they're still active.
Yep. They just moved out of New York.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you go to rural America?
Yep. Of course, Gozer, the in-joke would have been he would have been played by Pee Wee Herman. And there is some storyboards of the Pee Wee Herman version attacking the Ghostbusters.
Okay, now how would Paul Rubin have played that? Would he have played it more straight, or would he have gone...
I could picture more of that.
Oh, God, him actually going Pee Wee Herman on it?
Yeah, I could picture it.
Oh, my God.
Thank God they changed that part.
Yes, because Gozer is actually pretty menacing.
Yeah, and terrifying.
Yeah, you can see on my shirt. That's pretty terrifying and menacing.
Yep, so, yep. I'm happy that they changed that up. And it wasn't because of the actor at all. It was just because they felt, they pulled it off and it would have not fit well making a joke in that.
Yeah, it would have been weird. Mm-hmm. Well, why don't we go into the good?
The plot's really good.
Fantastic. Very easy, straightforward. You know, you kind of understand what's going on. There's no big issue on like, wait, why is this happening? Why is that? No, you get it. 3 scientists kicked out of university decide to make their own business once they find out ghosts are real. Mm-hmm. They decide to go ahead and capture said ghosts. And pretty much soon they have to go and fight a greater evil that is utilizing all these ghosts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty easy, huh?
Yep.
The acting, like we already said with the cast, is all the chef kisses.
Yeah, both the protagonist and the antagonist are great acting.
Yes.
Yep.
Definitely definitely some of the best work all these actors did.
Yep, and half of it was improvised too.
Well, hey, when you're dealing with
SNL people.
Yeah. And especially with the early days of SNL where you had to move quickly on your feet, makes sense.
So some of the lines you wouldn't know that they were improvised or not on there because they sounded so scripted.
Yeah. Or they sound like they would definitely fit into the story and what they would actually say.
Yep.
Hey man, I'm a scientist.
Even Sigourney Weaver improvised a line.
Even more proof on how fantastic of an actress that woman is. Mm-hmm. And next, the soundtrack.
Yep, as you see here, the soundtrack from Ghostbusters. We rap Parker Jr.'s Ghostbusters.
Yes, which just the other day I actually watched how he came up with the idea of the song and how it should go, and he did fantastic.
The problem is he stole the sample from Huey Lewis.
Yeah, either he didn't fully realize, or there's still some discussions on whether or not how that works, but there have been some court cases involving the main riff of Ghostbusters sounding way too similar to I Need a New Drug by Huey Lewis and the News. Mm-hmm. Which, they were the first ones in running to make music for Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. But they decided to go with Back to the Future instead, which I think was definitely the right choice.
Yep. And let alone
I mean, seriously, once you finish this video, go to YouTube, look up I Need a New Drug by Huey Lewis and the News, and then listen to Ghostbusters by Ray Parker Jr. And then you'll understand.
Yep. And then also the name, because they were fighting with Filmation because Filmation had the rights because of their TV show in the 70s, Ghostbusters. So, and there was also, like I said, there have been plenty of takes where they also said Ghost Smashers. Yes, in the commercial, they say Ghost Smashers in one of the early takes of the commercial that we did for the Code Open.
Ghost Smashers, we're ready to believe you.
Thank God that that Filmation said it'll land them keep the name. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't roll off the tongue like Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Yep.
But there's also other, original music that was also made for the film.
Yep. The Cleaning Up the Town by the Bus Boys. The Save the Day by Elise, I think. I can't really say that band's name, but some of that's like my favorite. Hot Night by Laura Branigan. Those are all great songs in there, especially if you just hear them in the background. Some of them aren't used for the movie at all. They're just, you can hear them like during like parties and stuff.
Which I think is actually a pretty clever way to use music.
Yeah. Yep. And what else?
Well, why don't we go into what makes the ghosts most of the ghosts look so good? The use of practical effects.
Done by the people from Star Wars.
Yes. And I think it was perfectly done. Mm-hmm. Perfectly done. For the most part. I mean, like the librarian, Slimer,
yeah.
all look pretty real. Mm-hmm. And pretty menacing, too.
Yep.
I think it was very well done. Yep. Very well done. And also, we had some great cameos.
Yep. Ooh.
Well, Larry King.
Yeah, Larry King, Casey Kasem.
Yes. Radio and television personality and original voice of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, Casey Kasem.
Yep.
It makes sense that both of them would be reporting about the Ghostbusters once they start getting some notoriety and fame, because they were two of the people that a lot of people would listen or watch.
Yeah. Even Casey Kasem's wife, Jean, was also in that party scene with Louis Tully.
Yeah.
She's a blonde that wants to leave.
Or she's, weirdly enough, hitting on Louis. Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Hey, man. Yeah.
You gotta step with her instead of pining over Dana.
Hey. Yeah. Sometimes they like the nerds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, of course, one that I really enjoy as far as cameos, we get to see Reginald Vell Johnson as a New York police officer. Yes, Officer Carl Winslow.
Yeah, because they never really give him a name, so I assume Carl just took temporary jobs before Family Matters.
Well,
before he met Harriet.
Well, or probably already was married to Harriet and she was still working at that hotel that Balky and his cousin were living in during Perfect Strangers. Mm-hmm. And plus, where did that take place? Wasn't that in California?
Yeah. And Carl was also in...
Oh, yeah. That's why he ends up, helping John McClane stop Alan Rickman and other terrorists.
If you wanted to do the Carl Winslow timeline video...
Hey, we're willing to do it. That would be fun.
Yeah. And should we also talk about the bad, or were you not done the good?
Well, I mean, with talking about cameos, there's still so much good about this film.
Yeah.
We're talking about cameos. Let's not forget the music video for Ghostbusters.
Yeah, where John Candy decides to make a thing on the cameo on the...
Along with Chevy Chase, Al Franken, and a few other people.
Yep.
Even Norm from Cheers.
Yep.
And with also talking about this film, definitely a perfect balance of supernatural drama, horror, and comedy.
Yeah.
It all meshes very perfectly, and it's not too jokey, it's not too serious, and it's not too scary. It's that perfect balance. sequence.
Yep, the opening scene, you wouldn't know that was a comedy. It started out like a horror film.
Yeah.
There until we finally hear the theme song.
And then you start seeing what Peter, Ray, and Egon are doing at university.
Yeah.
And of course, before we go into, maybe things that aren't too great, we got to talk about quite possibly one of the greatest things ever. The form Gozer chooses to essentially destroy the world.
Stay Puffed.
Yes, the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man.
We forgot to mention it's also raised for that one.
Yeah. Wasn't it Winston who said, everybody clear your mind, don't think of anything?
No, that was Peter.
Was it Peter?
Yeah, Peter said him, and Winston, and when he asked who said anything, Winston said, I didn't think of anything. Yeah. Of all things, Ray decides to pick the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. And you can see in his face when he decides to do it also.
Well, he tried to think of something that wouldn't hurt us. Mr. Stay Puft.
Unless you shoot.
Unless if you end up shooting him and turning him into a toasted marshmallow, then he gets mad.
Yeah.
I mean, God, he roared like Godzilla.
Yep. Yep.
And it makes me wonder if they hadn't... What would have Stay Puft done to them and everyone else?
Probably just stomped them to death. Or maybe ate them. I don't know.
These are questions. It does make me wonder. But I love Stay Puft.
Yeah.
It's so ludicrous and silly, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, that would definitely be the pick of, the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to the bad, there's not really much.
No, just mainly the practical effects, some of them.
Yeah, it's mainly the effects for when we see the physical forms of Zool and Vince Plortho. Yeah, you could tell that the effects hadn't gotten good enough for it to seem a lot more realistic compared to all the other ghosts.
You could also say that with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, because on some takes you can see his feet be like nothing on there when he's stepping on stuff.
Oh.
Yep.
God, that's something I didn't even notice.
Yep. You can see him like when he steps in the church, you really want to tell because because there's like a little, you could still see through some of it. Yeah.
So the rotoscoping wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But for the most part, this film is absolutely fantastic. Despite a few hiccups.
Yeah. So, how would you rate this movie?
For me, I'm sorry. I can't do a disservice to this film. It gets a 10. Mm-hmm. It gets a 10 out of 10. It is an absolute classic. Mm-hmm. It is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a reason why I enjoy this film more and more each time I watch it. Mm-hmm. It is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. I also give this a 10 out of 10. Mainly not just because of my love for the movie as a kid, but also because of all the horror stuff and the acting there, along with now learning the history of all the actors and now and getting the hang of it. And I watch this every Halloween, so this is my Halloween tradition. I watch the faculty the beginning of October, and then I watch
go ahead and check out our review of that.
And I watch Ghostbusters the end of October.
Hey, makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but if any of you think we're too nice to this movie,
what individual would think that? I mean, what? You don't think Ghostbusters is a good film? What?
Go find us on YouTube, find us on Facebook, The Real Screen Team. Comment on the comments, where we'll we promise we'll comment back on those and say our reason.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to get too debating on that one, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't hold my breath on that one, but still.
Yeah, and also remember, this is the true Ghostbusters.
Yep. But before we go, we almost have one more in hindsight. Ghostbusters 2.
Yes. The film that is debated on its merits.
Yep.
But we'll go into that.
So which one of us wants to roll us out?
Let me go ahead.
Okay.
Well, thank you all for coming. Definitely come back and watch us again. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It definitely helps. Thank you. Let's fade to black.